Action.
Okay, so we've gone through verticals, going from top to bottom with the ruler, and now we're working on horizontal with that ovular curve that goes up the form. Now sometimes we could show transparent lines if we were to show the other direction. You don't need to do this if it hurts your eyes. That's why some of my students call these cage notes, because when we're done, they end up looking like a cage. If we had vertical lines back here, they would stop here at the base. And that would be the cone and contour surface line. But if we wanted to add value to a cone, I tell kids to try to choose the vertical elongated shapes of the value change. Often gives beginning drawers better illusions. So if I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, just like I did on the sphere, and if you draw your lines really lightly, they will disappear. When students get really good, they start adding their values without any guides. So this value method is called stippling, where we might cheat in our darkest value because this is all dotted. Dots, dots, and more dots. Same size dots. Not big to small dots, but same size dots. And just like the scribble, when we want our 4 and 5, we want them to be very close together. Sometimes your dots get a little bit long. Try to keep them in dots. This creates a nice pitted or rough texture to the surface of your objects. I like to do stippling with Sharpie markers and larger markers. It's a little bit less time consuming. In the 3 space, we are going to make further apart. Careful about disconnecting your values. You want to make sure you start the values from the previous value so you have smooth transitions instead of abrupt or sharp ones. You want the value to emerge from the other one. In the 2 space, they're much lighter. Further apart to create a lighter value. It's the same dot, it's just much further apart, and then just a few in your all light side. We'll attach a cast shadow to the base in the center. I'm going to draw right over my other notes. This is triangular form, so the cast shadow would be triangular. Careful not to go too far up. Remember, the base of your cone is down here, not up there. And that's our cone. We take that same information to the cylinder. You can start a cylinder with an oval or an ellipse, and then bring in your ruler edge for a geometric cylinder to where the edge touches the ruler at just 1 point and 1 point only. Now this cylinder could be wide and short like a tuna can, or a little bit taller like a soup can. You can also alter these forms when you get good at them and make them more organic. Everything on the outside happens on the inside vertically. And everything horizontally will happen on the inside as well. The cylinder, we're starting to look at multiple surfaces, unlike the other forms in their 3/4 aerial view. So now we have this corner and a new surface up top. We could follow the rule, everything on the outside happens on the inside, or we could do a diagonal for depth. And that just means that I'm going to pick a diagonal direction and keep my lines parallel across the top of the surface, and that will create the idea that there is a flat surface in a depthful view. If we take this information to the value side, you can also start with your outlines instead of the opening, and I'll do this one with the elliptical top. Some kids just have a little bit easier time with an ellipse that has 2 points on it instead of the oval. So again, we'll be dividing into 5 for our fifths, and you could do this with 7 or 9 or 3. And up here, I'm going to take this curve that I used for the everything inside outside, and I'm going to do a backwards C. This is going to be an open cylinder. Here's my light. I'm going to go ahead and do the scribble technique again because it is fairly fast for me. You can try other techniques if you would like, or even blending is kind of nice on the cylinder since it is a parallel form. Remember, on the outside, I want the texture on the inside, and I'm going to be really close together in my 4 space. And then I want to make sure the line is further apart when I move to the light, but I don't want the quality of the small scribble to be lost. So instead of making the line type wider and larger, I am picking up my pencil as I draw to allow more white paper to show through to the lighter value. But to make it open, we need to make this side appear like it's blocking light. So I'm going to fill the dark on the opposite side up here. And since I'm on a different surface, I might choose to use a different value technique. So there's a 4, there's a 3, and a 2, and a 1. So the darkness on this side makes it look like light is blocked. Bring the cast shadow out from the center of the darkest value shade, pushing the cast shadows opposite direction of the light source, and keeping them very skinny. We're taking the form, knocking it over, and smashing it flat. So you need to make sure to keep the cast shadow down at the base of the form. And that's it.